All right, everyone. So let's just settle into our meditation posture and just trying to get in touch with this still place that we have, this place that we can easily access. But we're so outward going all the time, we tend to forget we can go inwards. So check your feet. If your feet are flat on the floor, try and imagine you're making contact with the earth through the soles of your feet. And knees maybe are hips width apart. And if you are sitting in the regular cross-legged position, have your sits bones raised. This helps to keep the spine aligned. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And the ears in line with the shoulders. And maybe just imagine there's a very sweet piece of, maybe a string of light in your sternum, middle of your chest. And imagine someone's pulling it slightly forward. And imagine you have a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of your head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine, lengthening your neck. And then just very gently tip your head forward. Put a little bit of length in the back of the neck. Take a nice deep breath. And just go to the crown of the head and release your scalp and your forehead, and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around your mouth, and the back of the head, back of the neck, the jaw, and just release any tension in the back of the tongue. Relax the neck, allow the shoulders to drop down, the shoulder blades to drop down, all the while you're lengthening. And just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Very subtle sensations on the outside of the nostrils. And then if there is any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with your mind. And then, notice what's arising in the mind, what thoughts. So are you feeling angry, happy, blissful, anxious? And then just notice what's there. So try not to attach any labels to it. Try not to be attached to whatever's there, or to criticize, or to have opinions. So just allow the thoughts to arise and just notice what is there. And then bring to mind some people of your life. So you'll start with your loved ones. And then the ones that you find a bit more difficult. And then perhaps those people in your life who are kind of strangers to you. And remembering they can change place at any time. Also in terms of trying to develop equanimity. And this is particularly for the strangers who we have very little regard for, or we're completely oblivious to how they might be feeling. But particularly for the people that we're not so fond of, it's good to try and remember that they too want to be happy, don't want to be suffering, just like us. Our loved ones, we know all about that. We want them to be happy. And then they're also the same in their unbelievable capacity for an enlightened mind. So just keep that in mind. And we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And we can also think of our precious Hin, who's here with us with one eye. So thinking particularly for Hin's, the swelling to go down. So just remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. So this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind. So we doing this practice in the context of the four opponent powers. So first is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So we can't bear the thought of any future suffering, and we know from the present that we don't want anymore. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of suffering. And so whom can I turn to? What can I do about it? So here we come, the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. And so you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine he's your guru or your teacher or your trusted mentor, your spiritual advisor, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So you can think maybe of the beings we have harmed, and then also those who have harmed us. And we try and create a wish for them to be free from suffering. And so think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember perhaps those people who have harmed you, and think that because of the harm they've caused you, they're going to experience suffering in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine doing the practice of purification. And so we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body. So it forces out of the lower orifices of all the body, all the negativities of the harm and harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Hanarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is the purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time pushing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this kind of overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the careless speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra this time. Same heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, that light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So you can just the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and neediness and anger and violence, depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, anxieties, insecurities, all this stuff we have going on in our mind, all of it instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Membiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dinapatita Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness, excuse me, and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So now is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time you can imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. It fills you completely, and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Savasiti Mipi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Savasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now is the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and really most crucial step, actually, of the purification process. And this is the determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind again. And without this determination, we're going to just keep doing the same old habits. Keep kind of repeating things over and over again, forgetting. So at some point, we've got to make a decision. Go, okay, so I don't want to do this anymore. This is harmful to myself and others. It does not serve me. And so think of something that you've been working on. First of all, rejoice in your efforts. And then think of something that you would like to work on, maybe a little differently, maybe a little longer time, maybe something a little bit more challenging. But just something between now and tomorrow. Keep your eye on something. And this determination to not do again is what gives us the strength to change. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And then next, Rinpoche recommends just to meditate a little bit on emptiness. So we think of the emptiness of 3 circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. And we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Rinpoche, O Tub Shu Chang Xin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzin Kyong Pelaway, Kunzo Dog Porze, Chog Sum Kuraway Leg Mon to Drew, Pa Dog Sog Dulaje, Gondu Jab Ten Shog. The Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. Geshe Share, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Thank you for hosting, Mary. Thank you for anyone else who was supporting her.